have you ever looked at a scientific paper, seen that long list of names at the top, and just wondered? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on that. We're going to unpack the hidden rules that decide who gets credit for what in the world of science.
Right? You see this groundbreaking study, and there are like 10 authors. Is that list just random? Is it alphabetical? Or is there some kind of secret code hidden in that byline? Well, spoiler alert, there is a code, and we're going to crack it together right now.
Okay, so first things first, we have to get our heads around a huge shift in how science even gets done. You know that classic image of the lone genius having a eureka moment all by themselves? Yeah, that's pretty much ancient history. Modern science is complicated, it's messy, and more than anything else, it's a team sport.
And just look at this chart to see how dramatic that shift has been. Back in the 80s, maybe a quarter of papers had more than one author. Fast forward to today, and that number has absolutely skyrocketed to over 90%. Collaboration isn't just an option anymore, it's the norm.
In fact, to put a simple number on it, the average paper you pick up today will have about 3 authors. Now, this is great for science, right? You get multiple brains with different skills tackling one problem. But it also creates a brand new headache. How on earth do you decide who gets credit for what?
So, with more and more people involved, figuring out who gets credit becomes a really big deal. And we're not just talking about bragging rights here. Authorship can make or break a scientist's career. It affects their funding, their job prospects, their whole reputation. So, naturally, systems have popped up to signal what each person actually did.
Basically, it boils down to 2 main systems. The old school way was just alphabetical order. It's simple, sure, but it kind of suggests everyone did the exact same amount of work, which, let's be honest, almost never happens. That's why the modern standard, the one you see almost everywhere now, is ordering by contribution. In this system, the order of the names tells a story. And the easiest way to understand this system is to think about movie credits. The first author? That's your lead actor. This is usually the junior scientist who is in the trenches doing most of the hands-on experiments. And the last author? That's the director. This is the senior scientist, the head of the lab who came up with the idea and guided the whole project. Getting your name in either of those spots is a huge deal. And the numbers really back this up. These days, only about 20% of papers still use that old alphabetical system. A whopping 80% are ordered by contribution. That means, for the vast majority of studies out there, that list of names is a carefully constructed message about who did what.
But wait, there's one more role we have to talk about. It's often marked with a tiny little asterisk or an envelope icon next to a name. This is the corresponding author, and you can think of them as the hidden power player behind the whole publication.
So if the first author is the lead actor and the last author is the director, the corresponding author is the movie's producer. This is the person who's on the hook for everything. They handle all the back and forth with the journal, they're the one who will be answering questions about the research years from now, and they are ultimately vouching for the integrity of the entire study. It's a massive responsibility, and it comes with a massive amount of credit. And here's where it gets really interesting. 20 years ago, the lead actor, that first author, was almost always the producer, too. It happened 90% of the time. But today, that number has dropped all the way down to 65%. What this tells us is that research teams are getting smarter about sharing the big, prestigious roles, often giving that corresponding author title to the director or someone else to spread the credit around more fairly.
So, okay, we've cracked the code, but the million-dollar question is the system actually fair? Well, it can be, but it can also cause a ton of arguments and confusion. Because of that, there's a big push in the scientific community for clearer, more upfront ways to handle credit right from the start.
And the best ideas for fixing this are actually pretty straightforward. First up, talk about author order at the very beginning of a project, not at the end when feelings might be hurt. Second, make sure everyone on the author list actually earned their spot. And third, and this is a big one, many are pushing for journals to require a short statement that says exactly what each author did, making everything totally transparent.
You know, this quote from a 2019 paper really just nails it. At the end of the day, the goal is a system where credit is a direct reflection of the work someone put in. It's all about fairness, transparency, and real merit.
So here's the key takeaway. The next time you see that long list of names, you'll know what you're looking at. It isn't just a list, it's a story of who led the charge, who steered the ship, and how a whole team worked together to discover something new. That byline isn't random, it's a code that shows you the human story behind the science. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. If we make this whole system of scientific credit completely transparent, what else might change? Could it not only stop arguments between scientists, but actually help build more trust in science itself? And maybe, just maybe, speed up the pace of discovery? Thanks for digging into this with us.